The West Coast is getting hammered by an atmospheric river, bringing much-needed precipitation to the region through at least the middle of next week, especially over Northern California, where the Sierras could see up to 10 feet of snowfall from this storm over the next 7 days, with more storms on the way. In this video, you'll see what to expect from this weather pattern, but first, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more weather updates. So here's a look at the current water vapor satellite imagery as of 6:30 p.m. Saturday, February 1st. You could see the atmospheric river just streaming moisture into the West Coast, especially California and even into the Pacific Northwest. And this is going to be bringing heavy rainfall and eventually heavy snowfall, especially to the higher elevations. There's a pretty active map on the National Weather Service. You have a lot of winter storm watches and warnings and winter weather advisories across the Pacific Northwest, especially over the Cascades and even the Yellowstone area. You have winter storm warnings in place, and also winter weather advisories for the Sierras. These are eventually going to turn into winter storm warnings for the Sierras, perhaps even blizzard warnings. We'll have to see how intense it gets up there. But then you also have winter weather advisories across the Northern Rockies in Montana and Idaho. And also you have high wind warnings across parts of Nevada and flood watches for the Sacramento Valley in northern and central California. Pretty active setup there. And then the thing is even if you're east of the Rockies, this storm could also affect you, even if you're in the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley. The storm, all that moisture, could actually kick off another intense system with heavy snowfall, even freezing rain, and severe weather. More on that in a couple minutes, but here's a look at the simulated radar. As of 7 p.m., you could see heavy rain across Northern California. Even the Sierras are actually getting rain. This will turn into snow as those snow levels drop. They always kind of start off pretty high, and then they tend to lower over time as more cold air moves in, and you could see some heavy rain across Northern California, even heavy snowfall in Southern Oregon, and this is making its way into the Pacific Northwest as well. But notice this atmospheric river just keeps going. This is February 2nd, tomorrow, Groundhog Day. You have this atmospheric river's going to Monday morning. You have heavy rain and snowfall across Southern Oregon and Northern California specifically, and then it just continues across Northern California, especially going into Tuesday, and then it gets really heavy across Northern and Central California. Some really heavy rain and snowfall on Tuesday, and then there's kind of a break in the storm, and you have some snow going on in the Northern Rockies across Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. Then notice all this atmospheric river moisture is actually going to kick off a bigger system in the Midwest, east of the Rockies. And then notice what happens on Wednesday afternoon. You actually have some snowfall across North Dakota, Minnesota, even Wisconsin. And then to the south of that, you have this area of freezing rain that goes across pretty much Iowa, southern Wisconsin, part of Michigan, eventually going across parts of Pennsylvania and New York. You could have freezing rain happening, but then notice to the south of that, you actually have severe weather. This could actually be a pretty powerful severe weather event. This looks like it could be a pretty intense severe weather event. We'll have to see what happens with that. Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that, but the Ohio Valley looks like they could see some significant severe weather if this actually happens. And if it already looks intense right now, that could be a problem. And then that storm system kind of moves away. But then notice another storm system hitting California. And this has a lot more snow with it in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And this could really add on several more feet of snow. And this is Thursday, February 6th. And then that system moves into the Pacific Northwest as well. There could even be more storm systems behind these, but you do have a lot of cold temperatures also moving in with these systems as well. But here's a look at the total precipitation over the next 7 days over parts of Northern California, like, for example, the Sacramento could see maybe 4 or 5 inches of rain. Stockton, 3-ish inches. San Francisco area, you could have 3 inches of rain. And then even Southern California gets in on the rain, possibly an inch of rain for LA. And San Diego missing out on most of it with only 1/10 of an inch, but even Southern California getting some of the rain too. Some much needed rainfall, but also the potential for flooding on top of burn scar areas. But definitely a lot of precipitation across California, especially Northern California. You could even see along some of these coastal mountains, you could see 6 to 8 inches, possibly even approaching some areas approaching a foot of precipitation. And this is rain, but also snowfall, especially as you get to the higher elevations where, for example, in the Sierras, you could see 18 to 20 inches of precipitation over the next 7 days, but a lot of that is going to be snow. It kind of starts off as rain, but it will turn into snowfall for sure. And then further north across the Pacific Northwest, notice a lot of the moisture really aimed at Northern California, and it does reach Southern Oregon and also kind of escapes into Idaho and some of the mountains in Montana and Washington. But, you could have anywhere from like 2 to 4 inches of rain across Southern Oregon going into central Idaho. Boise could see around 3 inches, but some of the higher elevations could even get 4 to 6 inches of precipitation. Western Washington and Oregon looking like a bit less, somewhere around 1 to 2 inches of precipitation for the most part. But even that, there could actually be some low elevation snow as that colder air moves in. Especially at the higher elevations, there could be a lot of snow. Here's a look at the total snowfall accumulation over the next 6 or 7 days. This goes into Friday, February 7th. So about a week. Across the Cascades, not so much snow, not too much. You have a couple feet of snow for the Cascades, but then once you get to Southern Oregon, you could have some of these places getting definitely like 3 to 6 feet of snow in this whole area. But then as you go further east in Oregon, anywhere from 1 to 2.5 feet of snow. The mountains in Idaho getting, again, another like 3 to over 6 feet of snow. Same thing for the Yellowstone area, several feet expected there. Montana getting a lot of snow, but even look at the coastal mountains could see several inches of snow, even some locations approaching a foot of snow across the coastal mountains in Washington and Oregon. And actually, Seattle could even get an inch or two of snow. Portland could see a couple inches of snow. Eugene, Oregon, Salem, Oregon, some of these places could even see an inch or 2 or 3 of snowfall. So this is some low elevation. The most snowfall is going to be in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. Here's a look at that. You could see in some of these places over 100 inches of snow, possibly approaching 8 to 10 feet of snow across some of the northern Sierra Nevada mountains. And then just in general, at least 3 to 6 or 7 feet of snow in a lot of these higher elevations. And then even Redding could get in on a little bit of snow. And the coastal mountains could see some decent snowfall as well, especially from the second storm system around February 5th going into February 7th. Redding could see 3 inches of snow, so even low elevation snow is definitely expected. Reno could see a couple feet of snow. This goes even into Nevada with some of this snowfall. All of this snowfall of several feet of snowfall in the Sierra Nevada mountains and elsewhere, this is really going to build up the snowpack that really hasn't had much of anything through the month of January. It was pretty dry. Now we're really adding up that snowfall. We'll have to see if this February could actually have near to above average precipitation. That's definitely possible. We'll have to see what happens. And it's not just the precipitation. There's actually some well below average temperatures around the Pacific Northwest, and some of that colder air is actually going to be moving in with these storm systems. You have temperatures 40 to 50 degrees below average across southwestern Canada. Notice these temperatures kind of work into the Pacific Northwest. You have, even by the middle of the week, you could have temperatures even 20 to 30 degrees below average, 15 to 30 degrees below average across Washington and Oregon and even parts of Northern California. And then even in Idaho and Montana, temperatures 25 to 40 degrees below average. And these temperatures still keep moving in, and then that second system around February 6th and 7th brings in some even more below average temperatures into California. Temperatures anywhere from around 10 to 20 or 25 degrees below average, and this continues all the way into, this is February 10th, still things staying below average, and this could continue all the way possibly into Wednesday, February 12th, before a lot of those colder temperatures that were kind of locked into the Pacific Northwest and southwestern Canada really blast southeastward into the central and eastern U.S. east of the Rockies. But then, by the middle of February, you could have around February 16th, February 17th, possibly. This is like super far out, but possibly more well below average temperatures coming back to the Pacific Northwest and even areas further east. So definitely an really active weather pattern specifically for California, but it will also affect surrounding areas like the Pacific Northwest and even areas east of the Rockies, with the potential for multiple storms in a row. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the forecast, and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more weather updates. Extreme Weather Zone, out.